0.2 of my series of learning Zangief and improving yours, the Zangiefsgym. Today I'm covering the standing medium punch. So this is 0.2 and I'm covering the standing medium punch. So the standing medium punch, the primary use for it, is it's a first of all, it's a pretty strong hit doing fairly good damage. So it's a good one to throw out. It's a very safe move to use as well, as there's very little consequences to throwing it out for the most part. You know, just be careful, like if someone's right on top of you, it may not always be the best option. But actually, in this case, I was going to use it for that example. I was going to say it's actually very good for knocking opponents back and keeping them off of you. But if they're really fast characters like Cammy is, you may have to wait for her to you may have to block some of her moves before you can use it. But when you do get a chance to use it, since it's just a little bit slower than she is, the standing medium punch is a great knockback. See how it knocks her back quite a bit. I've only hit her twice, and she went from being next to me to being outside of my range to the point where I can't even hit her anymore with that same attack. Look how far back she is, right? So that's good. That's good to knock enemies back. It's a good space controller in that case. It knocks her back out of my territory, so I can have this area for myself and without her standing on top of me. So that gives me a chance to do something else, you know. So it's another thing, and the reason I picked Cammy here is because I wanted to show you something that's cool. This attack too is this attack is good for characters that are very, very short. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of moves that Zangief does, with the exception of his basic light punch, which I just covered in the last video, that's really good because it hits everybody. But there's a lot of moves that Zangief has that you know, like the standing strong kick, strong kick is an example. You know, it's not always going to catch everybody, especially if they're crouched or something. But you know, even if she is crouched, she's still going to get hit by this medium punch. This medium punch goes down at an arc, down at an angle, where it will hit opponents that are crouching, and it'll hit short opponents. You know, Cammy's much shorter than Zangief is, but that still hits her, even crouched. Even if she's crouched, that will still hit her. So that's a really good move to kind of knock back crouchers, or to push crouchers back off of you, if they're getting on you, or if they're just kind of sitting there, crouching, and you're not really sure. This may not be the best option because you're gonna have to get yourself in a close range, so it's not always the best option. But just be aware that it will hit crouching opponents, which is good. And I like if they're really on me, like Cammy tends to be really close and hitting a lot of buttons, I like to hit her with this a few times, throw that out. The crouching version as well, which I'll cover in another video, but the crouching version as well is good at knocking back. And it has a fairly quick startup. I don't have the, as is this. I think the startup frames for this medium punch is like 7, but it's not, you know, the quickest option, but it's good for knocking back. So if I see Cammy's poking a lot, I'll use it to knock him back. Cammy in particular is shorter characters because like I said, some of his moves, you know, a lot of his normals are pretty good, but either way, this one hits better. I don't have to worry about it missing. I know even if Cammy is crouched on top, literally standing on top of me, crouched, I know that will still pick her up and hit her back, get her away from me. So I can take some of the pressure off myself. So that's a good thing about this move, is it takes the pressure off of Zangief, and it hits opponents that are crouching. It hits really short crouching opponents because it comes down at an angle. So it's very good for knocking crouchers back and knocking short people off of you, such as Cammy. Great knockback, great for crouching. You know, just be a little wary if you're trying to go up and aggressively use it. You can do that. Just be careful that you know, be wary of specials and stuff like that, which is always true anyway. No matter which normal move you're using, you got to be careful of your opponent's specials. So that's the primary use of this medium punch. You know, I don't think you'll be using it all the time or constantly. Definitely not exclusively. I think you know, the standing light punch is generally a good option. I prefer that because it hits anti-air and stuff. But again, the time I like them off, and I can hit them a couple times with that, and it'll knock them back, and that will give me a little space to breathe again. So that way I can do something different here. But if she's always on me, I can't really do anything. I can't jump or anything, because every time I go to do something, you know, she's gonna hit me or whatever. So I can't really jump or anything. So if I knock her back, if I knock her back with the standing medium punch, that's gonna give me space. So that's the primary use for it. I'm sure there's definitely you can use it in your offense. It can be part of a combo, you know. But generally, it's gonna knock them back farther away than you would probably want them to be if you're gonna combo. So it's not. I generally don't use it a lot for that. Like I said, that's pretty much the main use for it that I've seen so far, is just getting my opponent away from Zangief, away from me, so that will give me a chance to make my next move without having the fear of being immediately hit should I go to do something. If I go to do a strong punch or something, I might not be able to do it if she's constantly on top of me. So that medium punch helps to get her off and give me space. So now it's my turn again. Now I can do what I want to out here without having to be threatened with her attacks or her relentless assault. Okay, that's gonna do it for the standing medium punch. I don't have a lot else to say about that. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care.